All right, this is an introduction to the Latin hexameter and to scanning Latin poetry more generally. All our examples are hexameter lines from Ovid's Ars Amatoria. First off, Latin meter is quantitative. It's a pattern of long and short syllables. A long syllable takes longer to say than a short one, about twice as long. And we're going to be marking long syllables like that and short syllables like that. Now, the hexameter, the hex in hexameter means 6. So a hexameter line has 6 measures or 6 feet. Dactylic hexameter is a meter where each line has 6 feet. Each of the first 5 feet is either a dactyl, long, short, short, or a spondee, long, long. And finally, the 6th foot counts the same. It has a first syllable that's long, and then the second syllable can be either long or short. We can just mark it with an X. The reason that the 6th foot counts as a spondee, whether that second syllable is long or short, is that the end of the line serves as, there's kind of a rest there that makes even a short syllable count as long. So really quickly, just to give you a taste of it, I'm going to scan this line here. Illequidem ferus est et qui mihi sai perepugnet. Take a look. We have one dactyl, another dactyl, a spondee, a dactyl. The 5th foot here is a dactyl. The 5th foot in dactylic hexameter is almost always a dactyl, not a spondee. And then there's that 6th foot. Okay? All right. So what makes a syllable long or short? Well, any syllable that contains a vowel that is long by nature. So long alpha, long A, long E, long I, long O, long U. Any syllable that contains a vowel that's long by nature is long. If you're reading an elementary or intermediate text, the long vowels may be marked for you, but really most texts don't mark the long vowels. You're just expected to know. And so if you've learned your vocab really well, you'll know which vowels are long or short. If you're not sure, you can always look it up in a dictionary. Particularly important is to memorize the quantities of the vowels in the endings that you see all the time. So, for example, quas here, right? That is feminine accusative plural, and you should know that that A is long, okay? Whereas censurus here, well, you should just know that that U is long because that's a future active participle, whereas that U is short by nature because it's masculine nominative singular second declension ending, okay? Whereas this E, right, is ablative singular third declension. Those are short by nature. This O is long by nature because it's ablative masculine singular second declension. So those endings you should know just by heart. Okay, so any syllable that contains a vowel that is long by nature is a long syllable. Also, any syllable that contains a diphthong, which is 2 vowels pronounced as a single syllable, is long by nature. So, for example, in this line, Este procul vitae tenues insignia pudoris, vitae, that AE that we see in the nominative or here vocative feminine plural first declension, that's a diphthong. 2 vowels pronounced as a single syllable. So this syllable here, tie, is long. But remember that sometimes two vowels next to each other are actually pronounced separately. So this line, quaque parare necam miseris patruelibus ausae. Okay, so here, two vowels next to each other. That first U is short, but the E is long. Those are two vowels next to each other, but they're not a diphthong. They're pronounced separately. Okay, so any syllable that contains a vowel that's long by nature is long. Any syllable that contains a diphthong is long. Also, any syllable that is closed is long. Now, a closed syllable is one that ends in a consonant. Let's take a look at what that means. Okay, syllables in general like to begin with a consonant. And generally, when there are two consonants in a row, we have to divide between them, which would leave us with one consonant to close the first syllable, making that a closed and therefore long syllable, and one consonant to open the next. So we're going to look at this. This is easier to understand with an example. Okay, so if I were going to divide this line, if I were going to divide all the different syllables, how would I do it? Well, skit is one syllable. I'd divide there. And now look at benne. That's two syllables, right? If I were really going to divide the syllables, and this is not something that you actually do when you're scanning this carefully, I would divide there. So be is a syllable and ne is a syllable, because remember, syllables like to start with a consonant. And then we is a syllable and na is a syllable. Now, look here. We have an R and a C. We're going to divide between them. Okay, so tor. And then here again, we have an R and a V. We're going to divide between them. Didn't do a very good job there. Let's try again. My aim was a little off. There we go. All right. Now, you're going to see, so wis or wees, okay, wees here, we're going to divide this one between the I and the S, okay, because when we're pronouncing it, we is a syllable and then sa is a syllable, and then we're going to divide again there, syllable bi, a syllable re, a syllable t, a syllable a syllable ten, and a syllable dot. So if you look at those syllables, they all begin with a consonant. Now, which ones are closed? Well, the ones that are closed, right, also end in a consonant. So that one, that one, that one, and that one are all closed. Okay, remember that last syllable doesn't matter if it's long or short, so we're not going to worry about that one. Okay, so all of these are long syllables. Okay, because even though this I is short by nature, it's there in a closed syllable. So the I doesn't become long, but the syllable is long, even though the vowel in it is short. And the syllable is long because it ends in a consonant, and that makes it take longer to say. And that's what a long syllable is. So we're actually now ready to scan this whole line. Let's take a look. Okay. All right, so we know the first one is long because it's closed. If we looked it up in a dictionary, we'd see that that E in bene, those are both short by nature. The E in venator, that's long. That's long because the E and the A are long by nature. Tor is a long syllable because it's closed. Care is a long syllable because it's closed. Wees is a long syllable because that I is long by nature. This U is short by nature. This I is short by nature. If you didn't know for sure, you could check it in a dictionary. The E of ratia is long by nature, but the T and the A are short because it's, yeah, there we go. All right, so skit benewena tor cervis ubi ratia tendat. So you can see we have a dactyl, a spondy, a dactyl, and then that last foot. All right, so remember, when it comes to syllable division, word break doesn't matter. Line end matters. When we get to the end of the line, we're done. Okay, but when we divided there, like there we happen to divide between words, right? But there we divided in the middle of the word, okay? And there, remember, for the purpose of syllable division, we were taking that S with the U. So the result of all this is a syllable that contains a vowel that is short by nature may be a long syllable if that vowel, even though it's short, is followed by 2 or more consonants, because we're going to use one consonant to open the next syllable and one consonant to close that syllable. Also remember, X is always by itself a double consonant. So let's scan another line. Okay. Said. Well, now that's long in our meter because the E there is short. But look, it's followed by 2 consonants, so the syllable division is right in there. Okay, so said, tamen, et. Again, that E is short by nature, but it's followed by 2 consonants. So we're going to use that first T there to close that syllable. And then the ow is a diphthong. The I there is long, okay, because it is genitive singular masculine second declension. Care is long because, look, you know, even if you didn't know if that E was long or short by nature, notice it's followed by 2 consonants, so we're going to call that syllable long. And then this too, wix is long. It's long because, remember, X is basically a K sound plus an S sound. It's a double consonant all by itself. Okay. Short, short, long. That's a first conjugation verb. What is it? Present passive indicative. So it's long by nature. Short, short, long, and then the last one doesn't matter. So sed tamen et tauri cervix sonerator ratro. Remember one more thing. I and U are sometimes consonantal. Sometimes they count as consonants, other times as vowels. Some texts will print I as J when it's being a consonant. It's kind of an old-fashioned thing to do. Okay, so these 2 lines are completely equivalent to each other, but in this one, we've printed the consonantal I's as J. Here, they're printed as I's, as most texts today do. Si vecupis UNM UNAs tibi mille placebunt. But whether they are printed as I's or J's, they count as consonants. Okay, so for example, see this in UNM, that E is just third declension masculine accusative singular. That's short by nature, but that syllable is long because we have the M and the consonantal I, the J, right? So we're going to use the M to close that syllable, the J to open that one. Okay, so si vecupis UNM UNAs tibi mille placebunt. Many texts will print U as V when it's being a consonant, and you're probably used to that. So here, again, these two lines are equivalent. Okay? Spectatum veniunt spectentorut ipsae. And then this, which might look funny to you, here we have the V's printed as U's. Okay? Spectatum veniunt spectentorut ipsae. Okay? And so here is what it would look like if we printed that first line we were looking at with both the consonantal U's printed as U's and the consonantal I's printed as I's. Si vecupis uvenes tibi mille placebunt. H, however, does not count as a consonant. Okay, so here is, I believe, the very first line of the Ars Amatoria. Si quisin hoc artem populo non novit amandi. Okay, where this H does not make this syllable long. Okay, this syllable long, right? Because if we were dividing syllables, right, we'd be dividing it si, qui, si, noc. Okay? No, car, tam, pa, pu, lo, non, no, wit, ta, man, de. Okay? All right. So, one more thing here, elision. When one word ends in a vowel and the next begins with a vowel, then the first vowel elides for metrical purposes. It just goes away. Okay? So, seu, te, for, te, you, what, ser. Okay, so here's a vowel. And there's a vowel. Okay, this first one is just going to go away. All right, so seu, te, for, te, you, what, ser, et, sapientior, aitas. Okay, so that's called elision. If you're familiar with ancient Greek, when vowels are elided, they're not printed. In Latin, they're printed, and you just have to know that you don't really pronounce them when you're reading poetry. Now, when a word ends in a vowel followed by M, and the next word begins with a vowel, then that vowel plus M elides. This is a sign that final M was not prominently pronounced. It's not protecting that first vowel from the second vowel. So let's take a look at an example of that. Prox, remember X is a double consonant. Proximus weak labor est placet, and that whole goes away. So placet ex ora repuelam. Proximus week labor est placet ex ora repuela. Oi. This line has a bunch of interesting stuff. Notice here's an H not counting as a consonant. H doesn't count as a consonant. Okay, we have that elision of A followed by M. We have two X's here. Remember, those are double consonants. Okay. We have weak. That's a diphthong, but we're pronouncing puelam. That's not a diphthong. All right. A mute, that's a P, a B, a T, a D, a C, or a G. Okay, so labials, dentals, velars, followed by a liquid L or R, can be treated as two consonants or as one. The author has a choice. Okay, so we'll look at a few examples here. Esteproculvitai tenues insigne pudoris. Okay, so where's our example? Oh, here's a P and an R. And notice we're treating that as one consonant. We're taking the P and the R together, and therefore this E, which is short by nature, is still part of a short syllable. Esteprocul. Let's look at another one. Sic ruit ad celebres cultissima femina. Oof, having trouble here. There we go. Okay, so sic ruit ad celebres cultissima femina. Okay, so where's our mute plus liquid? It's that BR right there. Okay, again, we're taking them as one consonant. So this syllable here, le, is still short. Let's look at another example. Qua quepararednecem miseris patrue libus ausi. Okay, in this line, you can see this TR, and again, we're taking that as a single consonant, and therefore this syllable before it is still short. Okay, so let's do some practice, because I think that's really the best way to learn to scan. All right, so let's see what we're going to do here. Said, why long? Long because of the D and the T, so that D is closing that first consonant. Tom and et, long, okay, because of the two consonants, the two T's. Tau, that's a diphthong. Re, that I is long by nature. Care, weeks. Onera, tor, ara, tro. Okay, always check that you got actually 6 feet. Dactyl, spondy, dactyl, and then there's that 6th foot. Okay, so ow, diphthong, ubi, mu, long by nature, eribus. Well, that U is short by nature, but we have the S and the N following it. Na, long by nature, T, long by nature. Sua, short. Mu, long by nature again. And then short, long by nature. And then we got to our final syllable. Aut ubi mu naribus na T sua mu naramater. All right. How about this one? Well, long, got that C and the F. Short by nature, long by nature, short by nature, diphthong. Then we've got the M and the, well, it's a Greek phi, right? So we've got, that's long, short. Oh no, I'm wrong. Long by nature, short, long because of the M and the P, short, long, and you can tell, you've got your N and your C there, and then diphthong, but it doesn't matter, it's the last foot or the last beat there. So nec fugali negerai memphitica templa juvencae. All right, so long, because the 2 L's, long by nature, diphthong, short, short, long by nature, short, short, short by nature, but we have the R and then the C, so it's going to be long. Long, long again, short, short, long by nature, and then a last syllable. Illo sai pello co capitor consultus amori. All right. And then this one starts about the same. So long, 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 short, short, long, long by nature, long because of the N followed by the T, short, short, long because of the R and the B, short, short, long, get that R and the T, and then there you go. Illo sai pello code sunt sua verba deserto. All right. Long, because of the diphthong, E and U. Long, long because of the R and the T. Short, short, long because of the T and the S. Long by nature. Elision, and now long because of the T and the S. Short, short, long, you've got your N and your T. Short, short, long, it's a diphthong. And the final syllable. Seute forte juvat seret sapientior aetas. Okay. Hic, long syllable because of the C and the M. And then short, short. Remember, the H does not count as a consonant. So long, short, short. Long, because of the diphthong. Long, long, long. Remember the G and the N. Long by nature. Short, short, long by nature. Short, short, long. Got those two R's, and it doesn't matter. So, hic modus haec nostro signabitur aria choru. Okay. Long, because it's a diphthong. Short, short. Long, long, long. Short, short, long. Short, short, long. Short, short, long, long. Aut ut apes saltus quesuos set lentia noctae.